I want to revisit my cake analogy because if you cannot tell, I love cake. When I am thinking of a cake I would like to bake, let's say a chocolate cake with vanilla Swiss meringue icing. That is the first cake I learned how to bake with proficiency. I feel like it was also pretty ambitious, and I did it, and I did it well. Although I messed up the Swiss meringue icing the first time, I got it right the second time. But what I do is I look at videos of cakes that I want to bake. I research the kind of cake, I look up cake options, and I watch people bake these cakes over and over again. And I like to watch it because people who are fantastic bakers, they give you lots of good tips. And they say, you can use this ingredient, but this one's better. How do you know if it's ready? You'll see this little thing happen as you're whisking. You'll see these peaks. And when you see these peaks, then you know, move to the next step. So I learned the tips to get it better and also the rules to do it right. And that, my friends, is why research is so important. You get the tips to do what you want to do better, and you also learn the rules to do it right and correctly. Let's say that bringing this whole cake baking thing to the business world, no, I'm not starting a bakery, though I love them. I watched this movie called Apple Mortgage Cake about this woman, a single mom who had all of these things to do, take care of her sons. They're about to lose their house. And so she started baking apple cakes to save the mortgage, to pay the mortgage, to save the house. And so she was baking out of her home, and then a city official comes and says, you have to cease and desist because for the kind of business that you're running, you're not permitted to run it in a residence. You have to have a kitchen that has this kind of equipment, this amount of space, this kind of refrigeration options, and all these things. So had she done the research, she wouldn't have the analogy that we talked about in the first video where you do things out of order and it comes out all messy. Now, she didn't have that option, but a lot of us do. And it's good to know what is best and what's required. So we want to do our industry research so we don't have a situation where we get going and learn, oh man, I can't do this out of my home. Or if I want to do this kind of business, I have to have this kind of equipment or these licenses and permits and certifications. Some businesses that you want to start, you may not have to be certified. You may not have to have a certain certification, but you may not be taken seriously in your industry if you don't. A personal example, I looked at and still would like to become a compliance auditor. So I was looking at these jobs, like doing the research. If I want to get a job as a compliance officer, what's required? And most of them require having a bachelor's degree or some amount of hours in accounting. And then there's a particular certification for a compliance auditor that if I didn't have it, I would have the base qualifications, but I wouldn't be taken seriously unless I had that additional certification. And that means you girls got to go back to school, which I plan on doing once I get this business up and running and going the way that I would like. I would love to run the Advocate, be able to do it full time so that then I could dedicate myself to getting some additional certifications for a particular type of compliance auditing for large-scale businesses. I am perfect for the new and small business owner. What I know is going to serve you all well. And another thing that I love is that I know how to tell you how to find the right professional. But even myself, for my ultimate goal in business, there's some more learning I need. So I know what to do now with what I have, and I know what I need for where I'm going, right? That's what we want for you. So the best starting point for running your business and knowing compliance regulations, the things that you have to do that are essential and required, is checking out the Secretary of State website. This is going to be your best friend, people. Also, another fun fact, most states have a business division that's going to have some great resources for setting up and marketing your business. They want businesses to do well in their states because healthy businesses mean healthy revenue for the state, right? Your business is doing well, your business is paying taxes, the state has more funding to do what it needs to do to serve its people well. So running a state government is actually a business. It's a nonprofit, but nonprofits have to do businesses as well. Doing business isn't necessarily about, man, this is a bunny trail, but I'm going to go there. Doing business well is not just corporation, nonprofit versus for-profit. It's about the business of running and managing a corporation or an entity. Nonprofits have to manage payroll and regulations and corporate fiscal matters the same as a business. The big difference is paying taxes, tax law regulations. But anyway, that's beside the point. We're doing the research, people. So your Secretary of State website is going to tell you how to set up the corporate entity that you decide to set up, which we're going to get into the next video, types of corporate entities and how to choose the one that's right for you. Also, many states have annual filings that you have to maintain for the corporation to keep your LLC or your corporation active. You're going to oftentimes need to do an annual report. Some reports are due every other year. Some reports are due every 4 years or 5 years. But for most states, you're going to have an annual or every other year report that you'll need to do. So you want to research that, know when it's due, how much it costs. That's where purchasing the Biz Compliance Assessment is going to be super helpful for you, because I will find that information out for you and help you create a calendar so you can do those filings on time. Also, most states, not all, but the vast majority are going to require you to pay a sales and use tax. So you may have to pay business income tax or a sales and use tax on the income produced from whatever products and services you sell. Even if you're not selling products and services in the state and you're doing it digitally nationwide, there are going to be some regulations there. And then also do the research on when and how your type of business is going to pay taxes. Finally, depending on your business, there may be some permits that you have to get in order to operate. The most common one is the most common two that I can think of is if you're going to have a business that's that's going to have clients coming in and out regularly, a doctor's office, a law firm, a beauty parlor. No, beauty parlor is like an old term. A youth center or a daycare. There are going to be occupancy restrictions that you might have to worry about. Also, depending on what kind of business you're doing in your state, if you're starting a lawn care service or maybe a taxi or limousine service, you might have to get certain permits to operate your business in your state. So you definitely want to look that up. And finally, do a search and see if there are any associations that will help lend to the credibility of your business or councils that you can sign up for. Also see if there are any associations related to what you want to do that can tell you about regulations that you wouldn't have known of. I also have looked into studying to become an enrolled agent. I found that for me, I've got to get some more accounting classes in before I can be an enrolled agent, represent people in tax court, but that's a dream of mine. I am a nerd. I really enjoy the tax law, and I enjoy helping people learn how to navigate it. And so when it comes to understanding the tax code and publications and regulations, I'm your girl. The math part, I can do some algebra, but the details, it's like math, and it's mathematic and problem solving you have to do. I'm like, I got to go get almost the equivalent of an accounting degree to be able to understand this. But there's an association of enrolled agents out there where I can go and look and see the classes that I can take and get some information and know what kind of permits and licenses and certifications or extra classes lend credibility to that position. So that is also something to keep in mind. Those are the things that you want to research. State requirements for the kind of corporate entity that you want, annual filings that you have to do, state tax payment requirements, federal tax payment requirements, state permits and licenses that you may need, and industry recognized licenses, permits, and certifications. For some of us, it'll be none of that. For some of us, for some of us, it'll only be two or three of those things, like registering your entity. Maybe not. There are certain business structures that don't need to do that. Many that do require it. For everybody, there's going to be state and federal taxes that you're going to have to pay. For some of us, there's going to be those industry, state-related, federal-related permits and licenses that you'll need. And for some of us, there will also be some industry recommended and recognized accreditations, licenses, permits, certifications. That's what you're going to research. Trust me. Doing the research is going to make this process at least 50%, if not 75 to 100% easier. Okay. So do your research, be sound, be wise, be savvy. This is what wise, savvy, professional, powerful, excellent business owners do. We research. Why? Because we want to do our business well. We are accountable to the people that we're working for. We are accountable to ourselves. Like, I want to rock this for me. I want to feel confident and great in what I'm building. I want to know that it's going to last, and I want to excel and dominate. So if I have things in place that the competition doesn't know, well, I'm not about my competition losing. I'm about me dominating and outshining through my excellence, through my work ethic, through doing research that makes sure I have everything set up right, and learning tips that will give me an edge. Yeah. And I want to be attractive to my customers. I want to be attractive to investors and people who want to partner with me so that we can mutually help one another's businesses grow. I want to be trusted and attractive so that I can draw the right people to work with at the right time to grow and win at business. And I know that you want that too. Doing research is going to help that, because you can learn things that give you an edge up and help you keep your foundation solid. That's what it's all about. All right. So step one, check. You're going to go do your research. That is your homework. There is a worksheet included in this video, in the link below. In the description, that's what I was trying to say, a link to a worksheet where you can, it's just going to be very simple, have a box for all of those things. It's a PDF. You can fill it out on the computer, print it out, fill it out by hand, and you can even create a little notebook for yourself or a file on your computer with the worksheet that you're going to get from this program, okay? And you save it all so that as you do the research and you build it out, you have all of these things easily accessible. This is going to be the beginning of your own corporate compliance portfolio, your own CCP. I love it. All right. Thanks so much for joining me in this particular session. Reach out if you have any questions. You can visit my website, businessadvocate.co, and purchase the Biz Compliance Assessment, where we do a detailed, in-depth review of how you are managing these 7 steps, and we create a compliance strategy plan, especially for you, with resources, links, tools, and directives and information to help you manage this compliance aspect, which is so essential and foundational to a good business. We'll have a 1 to 2 hour compliance session. I'll have you do an assessment. I'll research for you, talk with you, create a strategy plan, and give you some information to help you set up the compliance and find the right professionals to serve you. And then you can also purchase a 1 hour coaching session if you want to do it together. Hey, Alicia, I would love some help setting up this corporate registration. I'll help you find the right program to use. There's a lot of software out there. Some of it's great, some of it's not. We'll choose the right software for you to help you get registered, find and connect with the right professionals, and make sure that you have all these 7 steps in place. So reach out to me. I would love to help you. businessadvocate.co is where it's at. And I will see you in the next video for step 3.